Yeah, through the chair. There's not a whole lot to report this last couple of weeks. We're still working on the Solsco Bridge. They'll be pouring concrete this week, tomorrow for sure, I'm told. And again, another pour next week. That deck takes shape. And then it's a matter of just getting the abutments done and tying that in. So we're optimistic by Christmas. I'm thinking New Year's at the latest. Should have that side open. The wastewater.
Just for a second, based on the fact that galleries here, can everybody speak up because they're having a hard time hearing in the gallery? So if you could, please.
The capital project for the wastewater treatment plant, we're progressing very well there as well. General Assembly has done most of the in-ground works and the piping. We're waiting on some key components to come in. There's been some delays on some of the electrical. So they are kind of putting a bow on it for now, and we'll be back early in the new year with more parts, and we're very close to having that done and commissioned. The beach park bathroom is all but complete. I went through the project yesterday with the building inspector. We were making a list of some minor deficiencies, a few things we want to clean up. And then we will look at calling that one done for the year with a few extra little things to happen in the park next year, but not tied to the beach park bathroom as such. Finlayson Waterfront, I've got a meeting with Mark Wallace coming up. We're going to talk about next steps, which will be focused on the design and the options that we have to look at to get into MOTI's hands moving forward with the waterfront development there. That's about it to report.
Okay. Comments or questions for Daryl at this stage? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Bylaw enforcement, John, your report.
Council, through the chair, it's been another quiet month for bylaw enforcement. Although I'm very pleased to report that I managed to close a outstanding unsightly violation from February. So having a couple of slower months really allowed me to crack down on some of the older outstanding files. Questions?
Comments or questions from council? I'm hearing none. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to development applications. Scott, you're up.
Thank you, Chair. There's on the screen, you can see the current applications, a couple of them that council will be considering tonight. We have received a couple new ones as well that didn't make it onto the agenda, but yeah, bumping along. If anybody has any questions, I can answer those.
Councilor Mamas, go ahead.
Scott, I don't know if it's readily available, but the applications that have been completed or closed, could you put that up just so people could see how?
We would have to go into the agenda for the Planning and Development Committee. Today's, yeah.
This is just so that
First,
the staff and the public are aware of how many files are actually.
those are-
These are ones that are done, including the ones that are current.
right. And so the way the numbering system works, 20 is the year, and then the next numbers, the file we've received. So I think we're at 360, and that includes building permits, sign permits, all the permits. So 360 applications in 2020.
So I'd just like to say good job. Thanks.
Okay. Colleen, go ahead.
Thank you. Scott, when you have under review on that building permit list, does that mean it's under review by you guys? The planning committee?
Yeah, it's under review. We're either waiting for more information or we're waiting for further direction from someone. So in this case, under review on 510 Thompson. So that's for the biofuel facility. We're probably going to try and capture that in the zoning bylaw. Under review on Old Town, we're waiting for more information from the applicant.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, report on the building permits.
Yeah, you can see the building permits busy month in November, especially on Hillier Road. I think there's 6 new units that we issued building permits for on Hillier Road. And yeah, it's $2 million worth of construction value, so up a little bit from a year ago.
Go ahead, Gordon.
Yeah, I just want to say it looks really good. You know, the permits are way up, construction value is way up, and it's good to see some of those units are actually from our local manufacturer in town. So that's really good to see.
Yeah, we went November 2020 from 629,000 to November 2021 to 2.2 million. So that's quite impressive. Any other comments or questions on this? All right, Scott, thank you very much. So we got Carly online.
Yes, I'm here if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, Carly, Development Corporation year-end update. You have the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'll get Kelly to pull up just a quick graphic update.
Is that Carly?
Nope, I'm not seeing anything on my end. I've got it in front of me, so I can just read it if it won't share.
It'll share. Hold on. No, I'm not finding it. It probably,
Okay, I actually have it up on my second screen here, so I can just go through it if it's available to see inside council chambers.
okay. Okay, it's
Perfect.
on.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity to present this next update. So not a lot has changed since my October update to you. So I'm just going to go over the things that I've accomplished in these last couple months, as well as really focus on where we're going in 2022. So a big one that we started working on was the Community Strategic Development Plan for the DOSDC. So I'm working very closely with MDB Insights, and the surveys are going to be launched end of week. This is a really critical component of this particular plan. There's going to be 3 different types of surveys going out. So the first one will be a resident survey, which is going to go out and be promoted to the community as a whole and encourage Sycamoose residents to contribute their ideas and visions of what they want to see for economic development moving forward. A direct to business. So I presented the full list of current District of Sycamoose businesses, and they are randomly selecting between 50 and 60, and they're going to send that out to the contact information I provided and hope that they get at least about an 80% return on the survey questions there. And then the third type of survey is called an advanced reconnaissance, and that's where they'll be contacting District of Sycamoose staff and council members, et cetera, so that they can get a real deep insight into the development corp, the vision, the strategic priorities that council has presented. We had to change our in-person consultation to the week of January 13th and 14th. They're just determining their travel schedules, and we're going to see in the new year, provided all of our regulations in terms of COVID stay the same, they will be in person. Otherwise, we'll switch to an online consultation period, and I'll be setting up sessions at 217 Finlayson, the new DOSDC offices for that time period. MRDT deposits to date. We've collected $75,294 of MRDT revenue from hotels and Airbnbs. I just submitted on November 30th, the 2022 plan. I'm waiting for some Destination BC feedback. And once I have that and have completed any needed changes, I will send it out to the DevCorp board, the Tourism Advisory Committee and Council, just to see what's going on. Content production is an ongoing project. I just shot two portions, of 2 different types of campaigns over this past weekend with the busyness and excitement around the town on Saturday. So we did a lot of shooting for the full day in town, and our Kelowna digital ads went live. I got 3 quotes from different providers and looked at the relevance on their location and their pricing, and we ended up going with Patio, One of the gentlemen, my ad buy gentleman there, has put up digital ads in their arrivals section. And what this does is it's an opportunity to put 4 different ads each month for 1 year. So I update them with the most current photos, and they repeat on 4 of the baggage carousel. So as people are waiting to get their bags, you'll see these big Explore Sycamoose, really beautiful photos being promoted there. Our first draft of the DOSDC website just came through. Kelly and I went through it and looked at some edits. I have a call with them on Monday to go over them. The goal is to launch January 10th with all of the content. It is looking really good to start off with. It's very content rich, has a lot of resources on it. So I'm very excited to share that once we get it launched. And the Explore Sycamoose video content is always in progress. So the goal is to have a winter, a summer as our 2 strongest seasons, and then start to build over this next year all of our off-season content. As we move into 2022, just a snapshot of some Q1 programs. So the first one is the Renew in the Shoe program. This is a program that I'm working with Salmon Arm Economic Development Society in an effort to help our local accommodators and businesses during the slower areas or the slower time periods right after the holidays. So really we're taking that whole model of, renew you, do you in the new year right after the holidays. We're shooting a video. We did part of it in Sycamoose on Saturday. Salmon Arm is contributing theirs, and it will actually be on the website. It'll be on a commercial, as Salmon Arm they're going to leverage some of their global money that they have to spend. And then we'll do a massive digital geo-targeted campaign out to Alberta and Saskatchewan. So we are reinvesting our MRDT money that we would normally get in the January period back into the hotels. So it's an optional program for all Sycamoose accommodators to buy into. It's at no cost to them. We handle everything. They just accept the Renew in the Shoe promo code and offer a 20% discount on stays to encourage people to come and book hotel rooms from January 15th to February 15th. So the accommodators are really excited that it doesn't cost them anything, and they're very happy to see that MRDT that they're collecting is actively being reinvested in their properties. I'm also working with Community Future Shuswap and Salmon Arm Economic Development to do a labor force roundtable. So Community Futures is going to be investing in a labor market statistic software for us, and we'll buy a separate license, but this will give us and our local business community some more insight into the labor market challenges. So we'll be engaging with the community and business owners to be a part of this roundtable to really look at what we're doing to support or how we can better support and develop programs around the labor challenges in our area. Speaker series is being developed again through our business retention walk surveys that I conducted in September of this year. We did find that there was a lot of missing information and missing resources for businesses, things on financial literacy, business insurance, recovery after, emergency situations, et cetera. So I'm going to be coordinating a speaker series with a bunch of different industry leaders in particular areas to come and do them as a webinar for the local community. If it's possible, we'll do some in-person sessions on grant writing and the more desirable programs that way. And then these speaker series will live on the DevCore website as a resource. Recovery initiatives are ongoing. So our new community profile should be done by February. It'll just get prettied up through a digital agency, and then that'll be ready to go. And then I'm excited to do an open house once the office is all set up to really welcome the community and have them come and see, what the DevCore is up to and ask questions as they want. And finally, the proposed council update meeting schedule. We will be quarterly at council meetings. I will have Jen send out this calendar or put it in the agendas as they come up. Did anyone have any questions on this first part?
All right, comments or questions? Go ahead, Councilor Malmus.
Just a comment. The district of Sycamoose does this, but it's one of our colors. And so I can't read anything on that because it's green with white in it. So it's very illegible. It's not reader friendly. So you might want to consider it being made so that you can actually look at it and read it.
Okay, I will definitely take that feedback and change up my colors when I do the next presentation.
Councilor Anderson, you're up.
Charlie, I just want to say thank you. It's great to see that MRDT tax going back into our community and to our hoteliers. So that's pretty exciting. And when do you move into the new location? Sorry, I missed that.
I'll be in January 1st, and then it'll just take a little bit to get everything all set up. So as soon as I'm ready to go to invite everyone in, I will definitely be sending out that invite to you all.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other?
I have a video from Carly.
Yep, go ahead. Put
Hey,
it.
Carly, did you want to introduce the video at all or?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we're really playing on the strengths of what we have already have for content in the community. So right now on the Explore Sycamoose website, this is the current video. And as we spend more into developing our additional experiences throughout the winter, this is where it'll be added on to this existing video. So it's a snowmobile video, but it's something I was able to get made very quickly. And, you know, it just helps to align our Explore Sycamoose website and our social media platforms with more relevant content versus the summer content. So you guys can just take a quick look at this 48-second video that we're using. So the goal ultimately is, as the winter now progresses, is collecting, you know, hiking, snowshoeing. I have a group of women that do paddleboarding in January in the, you know, in their dry suits and stuff. So it's really just continuing to connect with people that actually do the experiences that we want to amplify throughout the winter, to show people that right now, yes, it is very snowmobile, and I get that, but we want to start adding in more of those experiences to encourage people to come and enjoy all of the stuff that Sycamoose has to offer.
All right. Any other comments or questions for Carly? All right.
Great job. Good job, Carly.
Good job, Carly. Best of the season to you. Keep
Thank
up
you.
the
Merry
good work.
Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all as well.
Merry Christmas.
All right. All right, so District of Sycamoose, 2022 regular meeting schedule. Jen, you want to comment on this?
Sure, thank you, through the chair. So having reviewed events in 2022 and the dates of things that are coming up, I'm presenting the 2022 calendar, or the regular meeting schedule. So of note, there's one meeting scheduled for September due to the annual UBCM conference that will be held in person in Whistler. There is only one meeting scheduled for October because the election is planned for October 15th. And then following that, the inaugural meeting is the first meeting in November. And then back to December, there's only one meeting because of Christmas and the annual office closure. So unless council has any amendments to this schedule presented in front of you, we will post this as per the legislative requirements.
Comments or questions from council in regards to the meeting agenda schedule? Councilor Malmus, go ahead.
Only 10 months left.
No summer holiday.
If council would like to schedule less in the summer, we did cancel one this past August, as well as because of the wildfire, there was only one in July as well. Because I saw that we were only having one in September and October, I left them both in the summer, but of course, if council wishes to, you can always cancel a meeting, you can always add a meeting.
Sorry,
All right, fairly straightforward. Go ahead, Councilor
so
Anderson.
what are the dates of UBCM?
September 12th through 16th.
All right. Good with that?
Last hurrah.
Okay, next. Let's see, staff report, Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act changes. Jen, you have the floor again.
Thank you again to the chair. So this is absolutely, I would say, convoluted, but it is my role to try and understand and ensure that we are complying with the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. So they have made some amendments. So I've tried to break down the most significant and the impact. Most noteworthy is that we can now charge an application fee for any non-personal requests. So currently there is no, or before November 25th, there was no fee that could be charged. People could just submit a FOI request every single day if they wished or more. Now that there would be a $25 application fee that could be charged. Of course, with any fee, the FOI head, which is myself, could choose to waive that fee if there was fair excuses. So if if it wasn't feasible for that person to pay that, I could, with my own authority, decide to waive that fee. Additionally, data residency, we can now use software that have their servers in other countries. So that's kind of an exciting change because previously been very limited in some of the tools or the software that we'd like to use, and we can't because of where their servers are located. So this is kind of an interesting change that we can now, we'll just have more access to different tools to help us be more efficient in our administration. There will be a requirement for a privacy management program. So that's what I can look forward to in 2022. And apart from that, there's just an increase in fines. It's up to $50,000 for individuals for non-compliance with the Act. If there's any specific questions, I want to say this is a very high-level overview. These changes just came out. There was training that was this morning that I missed that I'll be following up with next week. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to follow up and get them to council.
Questions? Go ahead, Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it is, but I thought when I was reading, it said that one of the new rules or law is that if we're aware of a breach and we don't report it, that's an offense.
Yes, they did, you're correct, through the chair, they expanded what is considered an offense. Previously, it was actually fairly limited. And so I can get you the full list of what is considered an offense now, but being aware of privacy breaches, actually, I think I touched on a little bit here.
It's somewhere there.
New offenses for willfully evading the FOI requirements too, whereas previously it was just misleading and obstructing the commissioner. So any individual can request the information privacy commissioner to investigate us. And if we were misleading him or her, then that would be an offense. But now it's no willfully evading FOI. If you're doing anything to contravene our requirements under the Act, could be considered an offense now. So it's definitely expanded the scope.
And if you're aware of someone doing that, you're legally obligated to report that.
Correct.
So what have you done, Malcolm?
I'm not saying it's private.
So we have freedom of information, and the changes have been brought down by the NDP government. And of course, it's going to cost a little bit more to access them. But anyway, Jen, thank you for your report. Any more comments or questions on this? Okay, then we'll move on. Thank you. All right, so strategic priorities. Councillors, you have anything you want to discuss when it comes to strategic priorities today? Councillor Malmus, you're up.
So item number 8, Sycamoose Narrows flood mitigation and walkway. So our planning development committee today at 1 o'clock, the first group was some waterfront owners who need to replace their baskets with seawall. And we have a report, which is actually, is that the report sitting in front of you?
Yeah.
We have a report done by Kerwood Liddell that's a couple, 3 years old. And that report basically says that we should be putting in a seawall and getting our elevation of that waterfront up to 350 or 351. So there was an application that came before us to actually put some concrete blocks in, which was not in the design of what we have done for a seawall. And so we asked the Mike's, Scott, who's the property next door, and Carol from the marina to come in. Basically, we were fishing to see if they were willing to contribute to the seawall. And they all agreed that they were willing to contribute. So my ask is that because of the flooding and that's going on, that staff who do a great job at finding grant funding, look through and see if there is some available grant funding for our seawall. And I will try to get a Class C estimate for what the price would be to do that. So, or staff can, I would suggest we talk to Landmark for Class C estimate, because they're doing the work in the boat launch anyway, and those 3 or 4 properties are right there. The one property already has applied and it has all the permits in place and has been approved by the Ministry of Environment to do his block vault. So it's a good heads up if we block it all together and try to do it. There are others that are interested in doing it as well, but I'd like to just keep it as a small section as possible, like from the Finlayson boat launch to the actual boat launch that's at the marina, because it's just a natural enclosure. It would give us a good idea of the cost. So staff could be directed to investigate what funding is available via grants. Then we could come back with a Class C estimate. So thank you.
Resolution.
We could do it formally as a resolution. Staff be directed to research options for funding of flood mitigation. Do you want to specify exactly which?
Do you want to specify?
No.
No,
That's sufficient?
no, that's just sufficient.
Want to move that?
Pardon me?
Do you want to move that?
I'll move it, yes.
Second, Councillor Bushel. Any other comments on this?
I just,
Councillor Anderson?
thank you. Can I just clarify? Are we talking blocks again or
No,
blocks? We're talking sheet.
no.
Sheet pile. Okay, yeah, just one clarification. Thank you.
We just need to get money in order to make it happen. Okay, any other comments on this? Call the question, all in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
Jeff. Anything else in the strategic priorities that we want to talk about? Go ahead, Scott.
Thank you, Chair. Just looking at number 9, the zoning and subdivision bylaw rewrites. Staff, Daryl and I come pretty far with the zoning bylaw and the subdivision development servicing bylaw. We're wondering if council wants to have a workshop next week and we could show some of the work that we've done so far prior to bringing them before council in January.
Yeah, well, I wonder what Councillor Malmus's comments are going to be, because he's been really trying to get this thing finalized. And so are we into another meeting, you guys, before the end of the year? Councillor Anderson?
Yeah, I think we should before we roll it out in a finished form. Can we get a hard copy of it so we can go through and make some notes before the meeting though, just to prepare? Okay.
So staff, we're going to schedule a meeting.
Through the chair, we can ask Jen if she wants to help us schedule a meeting. I suggested next Tuesday, but
Having looked at council's calendar on my end, Tuesday looked like a day that might be the best
Tuesday,
option.
next week.
Yeah,
What's the date?
12. Oh, no. 14.
Anderson?
Scott, how long do you think we need? Time?
through the chair,
Okay.
I was thinking 3 hours, 9 to 12.
I think 9 to 12. I think that's good timing. That's 3 hours. Next Tuesday, I say we need to get together and we need to get this thing rectified and let's get it done. Are we in?
Yep.
Okay, good. We don't need a resolution, just make it happen.
I'm busy that day.
No, you're not. You're gonna come to that meeting. Pulling rank. Thank you. Okay, next Tuesday, 9 to 12. All right, where are we going? Any more when it comes to treaties? The priorities, strategic priorities. Nothing. Okay, good. We'll move on. All right, mayor and councilors report. So let's start with Councilor Bushel.
Excuse the chair. Yeah, I've been attending the finance meetings. They're going very well. Chaired by Colleen and put together by Kelly. She's done a great job. Yeah, I spent some time with Daryl, Jeremy and Carly on the pump track. We're looking at building a pump track for competition and the kids. So once we nail down a spot, it's going to be on our own land, so we don't have to go through the province and have long delays with permitting and everything. So yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Spent some time with Jeff, Daryl and Jeremy on the zoning, subdivision zoning bylaw, some questions that staff had. So Jeff and I spent some time with them on that. And then last night I was on the CSRD meeting for the Area E OCP public hearing. And yeah, that was interesting last night. Yeah, very interesting. So that's all I got to report.
Okay, Counselor Anderson.
Thank you. No, I don't have a lot to report. Chaired the finance committee meeting today. It was as exciting as normal, the usual. All good.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Counselor McCabe.
Yeah, attended the finance committee meeting. Also attended an active transportation Zoom meeting. I was representing council. I was picked to go to that meeting by Zoom. So a couple of takeaways from that meeting, active transportation. We have a grant for an active transportation to develop an active transportation plan. I think we're going to approve the contractor here later today or the process. An output from a completed active transportation plan would help identify priorities for our pathways and walkways, and hopefully identify some with the design and cost estimate, identify some that might be shovel ready, and possibly a multi-use path, and then put that into a grant application and get some money and move forward with some of the priorities that are identified through our capital project and grant applications. They suggest to incorporate an equity lens when we're doing our transportation plan. And when we're building paths, they also suggest put place markings with, maybe art pieces and maybe a gateway like council's talking about, or some pathway signs. Powell River is doing a pilot project right now for transportation within their community. It's not a shuttle service, it's on demand. So you phone or email them or text them and they'll come pick you up and drive you where you want to go. So it might be interesting to have a look at how they're structuring that plan. It's a pilot project. Of course, Powell River is going through some tough times right now because their pulp mill just closed permanently, which according to the mayor laid off about 400 employees. So I don't know how well that pilot project's gonna be going for the bus. Also, another takeaway, Indigenous Services Canada, staff probably knows this, but one of the services they provide is a template for a service agreement if we're entering into an agreement with First Nations. So in our case, it might be IR3 for utilities, right? So they already have templates in place for a municipal template to enter into service agreements with the First Nations. Again, staff's probably aware of that. And got to meet Kate Bernays, not sure how to pronounce her last name. She's worked for the Ministry of Transportation and Active Transportation, and Jesse Skomulski. He's the strategic director in charge of approving grants. So that's what Jesse likes to see in a grant application is an output from an active plan that has design, cost estimates, shovel ready, and hopefully it's a multi-use path. Increases chances of getting funding. Also, Interior Health has a grant program called Vision Zero Grant. It's a small grant for between $5,000 and $20,000. And I think that intake is still open. And their tagline for active transportation is move, commute, and connect. Outside of that, that's about it. We've got some meetings coming up next week with the Eagle Valley Senior Citizens Housing Society. And that's about it. Thanks.
Thank you. Counselor Aries.
Pretty quiet couple weeks. Biggest thing I have to say is that I guess the results of the Shuswap Community Foundation grants for Sycamoose got released. Most applications got rewarded money. I think you'll find the results in our earlier finance committee meeting are probably posted on the Shuswap Community Foundation website. That's all.
Councillor Momus.
So last night attended the CSRD Area E OCP hearing. Made a couple comments there. Today, the planning committee meeting, and oh yeah, today went for lunch at the senior center, which I haven't been for a long time, and they had cabbage rolls. Like for $7. Like, you can't get a home cooked meal like that. Just can't. That's it.
Councillor Evans.
I'm sorry I missed that today.
I asked.
I just want to thank Jamie for organizing the really great parade we had last Saturday night. It was cold, but it was fun. About an hour and a half through the tree streets. Lots of folks from Sycamoose out and other areas as well. Lining the streets, taking in Christmas cheer, and it was fun to be involved in that. And I visited our daycare yesterday. Popped in for a half hour and visited with the staff and met a bunch of cute little kids. And one of them had a lot of questions. It was really fun. Not allowed to say their name, freedom of information, guys, be careful. And a shout out to the Legion, who out of their meat draw account provide free food for the high school for breakfast and lunch every Monday. And a young man has the record for 7 hot dogs on Monday, so. He was hungry.
Thank you. All right, so meeting with the Ministry of Transportation in regards to a highway corridor plan and what's happening with the Bruin Bridge. Meeting with the Shuswap Tourism Program with Carly and all of the stakeholders as to how that's going to play out over the next year. Regarding OCP with Area E, somewhat controversial, that meeting, but a town hall meeting held at the senior center. A meeting with Spalatzen regarding the Condu program and the CD program for grant funding, as we were shortlisted on the national stage, and it looked quite promising. I was quite pleased with the comments that Chief Christian made in regards to how we are building relationships. That will probably be beneficial when we build our wellness center, medical center, wellness center, and the pedestrian bridge across the Narrows, as well as the build out of the rail corridor and possibly a community campground and a whole lot of other issues that we are dealing with them at this particular stage. Had the opportunity to go to the fire hall the other night and present a plaque to the firefighters, including our fearless leader, Brett, and the hard work that they did when it came to dealing with the wildfire in Sycamoose. And now the concerns are around what's going to take place with that particular area of the community when it comes next spring, when we have to deal with maybe some of the flood issues. It was a great parade and it was fun because prior to the parade, I met with all of the staff and all of their kids. And we went and we lit up the Christmas tree, and the staff and the kids wished the community a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year at the top of their lungs. It was quite fun. And then the parade, it was really quite cool. The parade was quite unique because we were going down one street and then we noticed that the rest of the parade was coming straight at us, and we kind of got mixed up. Half of the parade was going down one street, we were going down the other, but we got it together and we got everybody going in the right direction at the end of the day. So that was kind of fun too. Anyway, been going to the Sycamores Eagles hockey games and our kids are starting to really come around. They've been probably losing more of their games, but we lost the other night. Last night we lost 4-3 in overtime and but they really played well and I'm really enjoying going out to those meetings or those hockey games. I encourage anybody maybe to go out to the hockey games and give those kids support, a bunch of kids. And let's see, we're going to have one more council meeting in 2021. And as of tonight, we just decided that we're going to do that. And we're going to try to formulate the new planning zoning that we've got in process. I know Scott and the planning committee, and I would love to see that rectified and ratified for the benefit of Councillor Malmus. All right, okay, so I think that's pretty much it, apart from one other last thing, and that tonight, and I'll be asking council to help support the Christmas dinner at the senior center. And I've also decided that I will volunteer, and that will be happening not on Christmas Day this year, but on Christmas Eve. So if you're not doing anything on Christmas Eve and you want to come and help the seniors put that together, you just have to put your name on the list. And it was great to have cabbage rolls today. Councillor Malmus, one last thing.
Just a correction. It's Christmas. The 24th at noon. It's not Christmas Eve. They're not serving dinner Christmas Eve.
We're going to have the Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve.
They said noon today. They're serving it at noon today is what they said.
Oh, maybe at noon, yeah.
Yeah, so don't inform people that it's Christmas Eve because they said
gonna be
lunchtime. Fred's
on the 24th during noon.
yes.
Okay, yeah. Yes, yeah. Thank you for clearing that because they'll be all going down there. Councillor Anderson?
Sorry, just another clarification. There's no other council meetings in 2021. We're having a workshop next week.
Oh, yeah, we're having a workshop. Okay, thanks for correcting me on.
You're getting beat up there.
Well, we were hoping that we didn't have to come back in here anytime soon. Anyway, no more council meetings in December. So, yeah, the next council meeting will be in January. All right, okay, so that's my report. Okay, so recommendation at the committee of the whole now rise and report. I need a mover on this. Councillor Evans, Councillor Aries, all in favor. Okay, we're out of that. So now we're getting into the actual council meeting. Okay, development permit application.
Input?
Okay, yeah, we got any people with their hands up? Any public input?
Yes, Deb Heap has her hand.
Miranda?
Yeah.
There. Yeah, are you up?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
come
am-
on.
Yep, sorry about that. I didn't see the unmute. So I'm hoping to put a submission into Communities in Bloom for their newsletter for like a lot of our Christmas stuff that's going on. So I've put the word out to people that I'd like pictures and I'm getting very little response. You know, like I've tried various avenues. So I don't know when you guys did the Christmas tree light up, like, and then things like Main Street Landing and the houseboat on the highway and that, if you guys have been, if anybody's been taking any pictures, if I could get a few, it would really be helpful. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Deb. Daryl?
Through the chair, we can get somebody out early in the morning, get some good pictures of the
Yeah,
lights.
just with the lights and stuff. That would be excellent. Thank you.
Okay, we'll look after you, Deb. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
And just a shout out to our staff. The street does look just great. My goodness, it's so beautiful. So thanks for all that hard work, you guys.
Yeah, they've done a great job, but I tell you, when we went around town with the Christmas parade, It's pretty amazing how the town is, and the people have lit up their homes. It's pretty outstanding. I've never seen it like this, and they've done a heck of a job. All right, anything else? Anyone else?
Nope.
Okay, the rest of these people are all with the red barn.
We're not really the delegation. This is kind of putting the cart before the horse. We came to thank the councilors and the district staff, Jen and Gord, for helping us put forward the applications for the heritage bylaw. So this is kind of not saying thank you, this is saying influencing and hope we pass.
You want to move up a little bit so that we can have the delegation now?
Technically, no, the public hearing is advertised for 6.
Okay, at 6 o'clock? Okay. All right, so let's move into the next staff reports here, and we'll get on with that, and then we'll have the delegation at 6 o'clock in 10 minutes. All right, development permit application 21-200 DP and development variance permit application number 21-200 DVP 907 Trans-Canada Frontage Road. Recommendation that the District of Sycamoose authorize and issue development permit number 21-200 DP for the development of food and beverage service establishment, retail sales establishment, and employee dwelling unit, and the development variance permit number 21-200 DVP to vary setback and landscape buffer for the property legally described as parcel B, being A, consolidation of lots 1 and 2, section 31, township 21, range 7 west of the 6th meridian, Kamloops Division, Yale District, Plan 30190. Located at 907 Trans-Canada Frontage Road. I need a mover on this. Councillor Malmus, seconded by Councillor Evans. Scott, you want to give us a report and we'll vote on this?
And thank you, Chair. So this is an application for a development permit and development variance permit, and staff's recommending that that council issue those permits. Property is located 907 Trans-Canada Road. It's next door to the A&W and right on Sherlock Road and Trans-Canada Frontage Road. OCP designation is highway commercial, so a development permit is required. And then the zoning is also C2 highway tourist commercial. The uses as proposed are permitted in that zone. Here you can see the site plan. So the property would have 2 accesses, both of them off the Trans-Canada Frontage Road. And then you can see there's a drive-through for a Dairy Queen restaurant that's proposed. There's a little picnic area in the southeast corner. You see the garbage enclosures there. And then there's 40 parking spots, and also some bicycle parking that's proposed. Here's what the rendering of the building. So the development permit is for an eating establishment, retail, and employee dwelling. They used a variety of finishing materials and textures and staggered the building facade to break up the building massing as required by the development permit. And then you can see the branded signage they're proposing for above the lintel of the windows and the doors. So that meets the conditions of the development permit area. Then there's the development variance permit. So they're looking for 2 variances. One of them is relatively minor. The rear setback, the property right here where it abuts a residential property from 6 meters to 5.9 meters. And then they're also looking to reduce the vegetated buffer from 2 meters to 0.6 meters. That's in common with the property line, in common with Sherlock Road. So it shouldn't impact the neighboring property owners. They've also indicated that there is that residential property next door, and they said if sound does become a problem, they'll work with the owners and put up a sound barrier if necessary. So we sent this out for consultation. We had no objections. Ministry of Transportation didn't comment. Operation Engineering did say a traffic assessment required at the building permit stage. And we did refer this to the Planning and Development Committee a couple times, and the most recent meeting, they recommended approval. Here you can see this is taken in the summer. You can see where the property is, just on the corner of Trans-Canada Frontage Road and Sherlock Road. Then this is looking from that corner back towards where the residential property is. There's already a fence and some vegetation. The buildings obviously would come down and they'd construct the new building. And again, staff's recommending that it be issued. It meets the conditions of development permit area, and the variances are relatively minor. We're offering quite a bit in as far as landscaping, picnic area, parking, so it should be a benefit to the community.
Okay, Councillor Mamas, go ahead.
Yes, through the chair. So they've agreed to work with single only resident anywhere near that thing. And then they're putting the dumpsters right against kind of the back end. I know I have dumpsters at the car wash, and when that truck comes and he bangs them like 5 times, it's a deafening sound. I don't know how the sound barrier would help you with that those lids on those things are banging and they're 8 feet in the air. So I might ask if they would, I know they want it there because it's convenient to the store. But like I said, backed onto that residence, that is a harsh with that's hidden. It bangs on the forks and then the lid bangs. It's a pretty loud sound. If I can hear it from the car wash at my house, I can imagine what you can hear that distance. Well, I'm just asking if they might consider a relocation of the garbage bins.
We can, through the chair, you can always ask them. I believe Mr. Kalu is online, but I don't believe it's a proponent. I think it might be his brother.
Yes, I am online, actually. Yes, I can actually, with any questions or regards, I can bring that up to my brother's attention, and he will be able to get back to you guys within the next couple days if you guys want me to bring that up to him.
I think council would want that brought up.
Okay.
Oh,
That's good.
Sorry.
a counselor has asked, not council.
Colin.
So having said that, moving it 12 feet in one direction or another direction, I don't think is really going to buffer any noise. So I think we may be sending him just on a wild goose chase right now. So I don't see a problem with it.
Councillor Bushel, go ahead, and Councillor McCabe.
It is a good point through the chair. Although we approved this through the planning committee and we thought it was a good idea, I don't think it should hold up the development permit. I'm sure the staff can work with them on their own. And if they find out that the dumpster could go further east in the corner where the picnic grounds are, and they can put the picnic grounds over by the residents, that works too. But I think we should leave it up to staff, and I think it's a good point, Jeff, for sure. But we kind of approved it already, and at planning, and hopefully the council will approve it tonight.
Councillor McCabe, you got a point?
Well, I agree with Councillor Bushel, and I respect Councillor Mamas's point there, but I don't think it should hold up the permit, and I think just leave it at staff's discretion.
Councillor Mamas, go ahead.
I did not ask it to hold up the permit. I just asked if the proponent would consider relocating it. He's already agreed to, if there's a noise issue, and I'm assuming that's consideration from the cars along the property line going through the drive-through. He's already said he'll deal with that. So I know what the noise is from a garbage container, a garbage receptacle that gets dumped by a truck, but just asking if he would consider looking at it.
Okay, point well taken.
Not stopping the development.
Okay, so we're going to vote on the development permit. So any other comments on the development permit? Okay, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Thanks, Scott. All right. So next is the development permit application on number 21-353 DP and development variance application 21-353 DBP 531 Thompson Court. Scott, would you give us a quick report on this? This was ratified by the planning committee today. So before I read out the recommendation.
And thank you, Chair. So this is an application for a development permit and a development variance permit in the industrial park. As you can see, it's property at 531 Thompson Place. It's just it's the most southerly lot on that Thompson Place, next to a couple rural properties, and then where the Walmart's doing their trucking yard. Properties zoned industrial, general industrial, so that requires a development permit. And then it's zoned light industrial. Here you can see the site plan. They're looking at surrounding the property in black security fencing with barbed wire on top. There's trees and shrubs on the south lot line. This drawing kind of makes it look like it's the west lot line, but that's the south lot line. They're existing, and so they'll just maintain those. And then landscaping and trees at the front of the property where it fronts on Thompson Court. And then xeriscaping. One time they were considering turf, but Planning and Development Committee recommended gravel or xeriscaping instead. And then paved parking lot and on-site stormwater management. The development permit affects the form and character of the building. So looking at metal roofing, metal siding, and it's relieved by alternating bands of gray. The doors would be darker gray with black trim. And then there'd be a darker gray awning. One thing they considered was reducing the white or the silver colors to reduce the glare on the property next door. And they're also proposing slatted fencing on the south side as well to provide screening. The development variance permit is for the height of the fence. So the maximum height of the fence is 1.2 meters. They'd like to go to 2.4 meters. That'd be consistent with the other properties in the industrial park. So we did refer this out to the internal referral agencies. Building inspection required, just made it known that an engineer will be required. Bylaw officer had no concerns, and the engineering technologist just said that the stormwater should be retained on site, and they've included that in their plan. Yeah, it fits with the industrial development permit area, and should be a good addition to the industrial park. Another building out there. Those lots are almost filled up now. So yeah, staff's recommending that the development variance be approved.
All right, I need a mover on the recommendation as presented. Councillor Malmas, seconded by Councillor Evans. Any more on this? Going to call a question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks, Scott. All right, Eagle River Golf and Country Club liquor license outdoor patio area application. Scott, would you give us a report on this as well?
I can. Thank you, Chair. So the golf course wants to expand the patio to 5,000 square feet. So replacing the existing patio, and they need a liquor license amendment to their application or amendment to their permit for that. So the liquor board refers it to the local government, and we can either choose to participate, choose not to participate. If we participate, we have to petition everybody within 800 meters on their opinion of that expansion. So we did that. We sent out letters to all the property owners within 800 meters. I think we received one response that was in favor. It's included in your agenda package. Yeah, there were no other responses. So we can respond to the liquor board that the recommendation is that we respond that we support the expansion. We've solicited opinions from neighbors, and there are no concerns, and we don't feel there's any concerns for the community at large. That's a recommendation from staff.
All right, I think I'll read it out. Recommendation, whereas the district of Sycamore has considered the impact of noise and the general impact on the community of a new outdoor patio area for the liquor primary license held at 1450 Husky Frontage Road. And whereas the district of Sycamore solicited opinions of residents within 800 meters of the Eagle River Golf and Country Club through direct mail inviting comment. Now therefore be it resolved that the district of Sycamore recommends that the application for a new outdoor patio area for the liquor primary license held at 1450 Husky Frontage Road under the establishment name of Eagle River Golf and Country Club be approved. I need a mover on this. Counselor Malmus, seconded by Counselor Evans. Any more comments on this? Call a question then. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, MFA borrowing of housing land. Recommendation that the council of the district of Sycamore authorize up to $300,000 be borrowed under section 175 of the community charter from the Municipal Finance Authority for the purpose of financing the purchase and site preparation of land on Main Street to be used for housing projects, and that the loan be repaid within 5 years with no rights of renewal. I need a mover on this. Counselor Anderson, Counselor Bushel. Kelly, you want to give us a quick report on this?
Yeah, most definitely. So this is some debt that was previously approved in our 2021 budget. However, some changes arose in the year and it ended up by being more than originally anticipated. We anticipated originally 250, but now it's 300 as we modified locations of various capital projects we had. So this is for a bunch of stuff relating to land as it relates to housing projects. So it's for the acquisition of a portion of 433 Main Street, which was 159,000. Then archaeological work on 425 and 417 Main Street, which are right adjacent, for 46,000. Then the demolishing of the houses and all that asbestos work totaled $116,000. So that was quite a pricey demolish for those two houses. I would say 2.5 houses. And then the logging of the land, that's the net cost. There was a cost to remove it, but then we also got some money back for the timber. So the total price of all that works out to $340,000. So as opposed to borrowing the entire 340, we do have a small amount in our land reserve remaining. So I'm going to fund 40,000, just over 40,000 from our land reserve, and then we'll borrow 300. What's great about this is that the MFA current rate is 0.96. So using MFA is a great resource for a municipality. It's very, very cheap money. The annual payment of this will be $60,000 a year, which is in the budget for 2022 to 2026. That along with the interest payments, which will be quite minimal, are funded from taxation revenue. However, they were in the budget last year as well. We just didn't actually finish all the work. So there's actually very minimal tax impact to this.
Okay. All right.
Council resolution is required as part of the MFA application form.
All right. Thank you. Any comments or questions from council? Okay, I'm going to call a question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, so active transportation network plan contract award recommendation that council authorize staff to award the active transportation network plan to Urban Systems for a proposal price of $48,540. I need a mover, Councillor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Aries. Comments or questions on this? Scott, would you give us a brief update on this, please?
And thank you, Chair. So this is for the Active Transportation Network Plan. Jeremy worked on a RFP and put it out for bids, and we ended up with 4 of them. We're recommending the lowest one. It scored the highest. We had 4 of us in the planning and engineering, and then our new community service department, we all scored it, and this one scored the best for all of us. 48,000, you might think we're getting less with it, but no, we're probably getting the same product. They're actually proposed fewer hours, and they actually have the lower per hour rate. Some of the benefits of it is that I think they recognize this as well. They actually host a lot of our GIS information, so I think for them to do it just made a lot of sense, and they could do it less. We've worked with them before. I've worked with them on an active transportation plan, and they worked really hard to kind of go with the philosophy of getting those project priorities and the trail cross sections and those Class D cost estimates, the stuff that really costs money. And yeah, and they weren't heavy on the more philosophical putting together the report stuff. Another advantage is the They have an engineer that's working on the rail trail, so looking at the trailhead and that kind of thing. So that's an advantage as well. And then they also in their study, they mentioned the pedestrian bridge and the flood wall. So those are two projects that are important. They recognize those. Not all of them did that. They had an option for Class C cost estimates, which is, that'll probably increase the budget a little bit. We have $100,000 to spend, so we have another $50,000 that we can use possibly for those Class C cost estimates. We can see where we can probably have an opportunity to add that pedestrian bridge and get them to do a little bit more work on the pedestrian bridge under this budget. Ministry of Transportation allows Class C cost estimates. We might be able to squeeze a pretty good cost estimate out on the pedestrian bridge. So yeah, I think this one, it is the lowest, but I think it was also probably the best one and the best fit for us.
Okay, any comments or questions for Scott? All right, hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously as well. Okay, so now I'm going to read out this public hearing opening statement. It's regarding the Heritage Designation Bylaw number 991/2022, the Red Barn Art Center, 1226 Riverside Avenue. So I have to read this out and we'll see if we have any response. So at this public hearing, council will consider the heritage designation of the property located at 1226 Riverside Avenue and legally described as Lot 11, Plan KAP 2026, District Lot 452, Land District 25, District of Sycamore Heritage Bylaw number 991/2022 will be introduced by staff presenting a brief synopsis of the proposed designation. Following the introduction, I will open the floor to presentations by the public. At this meeting, the public are invited to make presentations to council, and all persons who believe their interest in property is affected by the proposal heritage designation will be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard or to present written submissions respecting matters contained in the proposed bylaw. Please direct all your comments to the chair. Members of council may, if they wish, ask questions following the presentation. However, the main function of council is to listen to the views of the public. It is not the function of council at this hearing to debate the merits of the proposal with individual citizens. Please observe these rules, and if you have any concerns with the manner in which the hearing is conducted, direct your comments to the chairperson. Everyone shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard at this hearing. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making his or her views known. To speak during the meeting, please raise your hands. Virtual attendees may click the hand icon to raise your hand electronically, and you will be in the queue to speak. If there are technical issues not allowing a participant to comment electronically, participants have the opportunity to phone into the hearing or provide written submission prior to the close of the public hearing. To submit written comments to the corporate officer during the meeting, please email publicinput@sycamoose.ca before the close of the meeting and let the district staff members online via Zoom know that you have done so. All these submissions will be retained and copies of the submissions will be available from the corporate officer during regular office hours. Your final opportunity to comment on the proposed bylaw will be during the hearings as members of council are not permitted to receive further submissions after the close of the hearing. Again, please direct your comments to the chair by electronically raising your hand to speak. I will now request the manager of development services to provide a synopsis of the proposed heritage designation. So Scott, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. So this is a heritage designation bylaw 991/2021. So this would allow, not only does it apply to the Red Barn, but other people could apply to have their building recognized through this. But yeah, it was started through the Elk Valley Arts Council, wanted the Red Barn recognized so they can seek funding for grant opportunities. The bylaw was given first and second reading on November 10th and was advertised in the newspaper for public comment. And then part of the application is a statement of significance. So McLean Heritage did a statement of significance for the red barn. And then with the bylaw, there are some, we'll say, what do you call them, conditions. So there's a maintenance requirement. So the owners of the building would be required to maintain it and keep it maintained and as per the heritage bylaw and the statement of significance. They'd also be required to have an alteration permit. So if they want to make any changes, they'd have to actually make an application. And in the bylaw, that's delegated to the manager of development services to determine if those alterations would be permitted. If they aren't happy with the response from the manager of development services, they would have the opportunity to come to council. And then the last thing, they would be waiving their right of compensation. So often when buildings are designated as heritage status, it limits what they can be used for or what changes can be made. So it could affect the value of the building. So they would waive any compensation for that because the district designates them as heritage. But staff's recommending that this be given third reading. We did receive one submission from the public in favor of it. And as you heard today, there's people in the gallery that were also in favor.
All right, thanks, Scott. So I will open the floor to anybody that wishes to speak on behalf of the public hearing at this stage in regards to the heritage bylaw for the Red Barn. If you wish, could I get you to step up to the podium? Then thank you.
Yes, there's quite a few people that, by the way, Mr. Anish, I was the heritage part of the Heritage Committee for the Red Barn. We put together with the help of a writer, we put together the statement of significance and all the pictures. And Gord actually kindly put us in contact with the lovely lady Laura Swartzky at the Heritage Canada so that we could actually get all the information. So I think that this is an unusual historical building that's been used for the community for a long time. So I'm really happy that you guys are looking at making it as a heritage building so that we can keep it in the community for forever. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Kelly, is there anybody online?
Did we want to get a name and address?
Pardon me?
We need a name and address.
Name and address?
Yes.
Joy?
Joy?
For me?
Yes, please.
Oh, address? 1122 Sherman Road. Name is Joy Nish, NISH.
All right, thank you for that. And is there anybody online that wishes to speak in regards to the public hearing? Kelly? No?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to ask a second time. Is there anyone else that would wish to speak in regards to the public hearing? Okay, I'm going to ask a third and final time. Is there anyone that would like to speak in regards to the public hearing? Okay, I'm not hearing any more, so I declare this public hearing closed. Thank you. All right. So Scott's given us a brief overview on this. Councilors, do you have any other comments on this at this stage? Councilor Bushel?
Yeah, I just want to say this is really important. The community of Sycamoose. I think when I became a councillor almost 7 years ago or 6 years ago, I thought that we needed a heritage bylaw for this very own building and also maybe the Finlayson home and on Finlayson Street. And there's a couple other ones, the old school over by the rec center. And of course the church on Riverside. But yeah, I think it's very, the statement of significance that they put together was fabulously done. I don't know if you got a chance to read it all, and it's a really good write-up, and they had lots of input from different members of the society. And yeah, I think you guys did a great job. Thank you.
Councilor McCabe.
Yeah, I think that was a great submission. I looked at the statement of significance and it was quite the journey. So pop quiz, who donated the property?
I can honestly say that Kim Hyde
Doesn't be
very happy about, go ahead, Sally.
Sally Hadley. That property, that Paul has been on that property as long as I can remember. In former years, the building will have its 100 vendors. So I think it's very significant that this be passed as a heritage building. I'm sorry. I have a lot of emotions to so many things happen. I'm from New York. I went to so many concerts there as a child, and it's just a great meeting place.
Councillor Evans.
My first memory of the Red Barn was moving here 13 years ago and going to a Christmas carol there, and it was just fabulous. I thought, what a neat thing, what a neat place. So I'm very excited about this. It's exciting.
Yes, very.
Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, so Mary Finlayson was the donator of the property. And the contractor who built the barn was R.W. Brune. We might recognize the name from Brune Bridge and the way marker on Capel for R.W. Brune. So it was very interesting reading your description there. Yeah.
Yeah, the Red Barn and Kim Hyde, and I don't know, this conversation's been going on for, I don't know how many years, but we're finally getting it done, and I'm really happy to see that happen. So, and I know Kim will be happy about it as well. So anyway, good on you ladies for bringing us forward, and we're looking forward to the final reading on
I'm
it.
around.
Anything more on this at this stage?
Is that Jeff back there? Jeff?
All right, thank you.
It is.
All right, now, Heritage Bylaw number 991/2022, third reading, recommendation that the Heritage Designation Bylaw number 991/2022 be given third reading this 8th day of December 2021. I need a mover on this. Councillor Anderson, Councillor Bushell. All right, I'm going to call a question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. All right. Purchasing policy F5, recommendation of the council amend purchasing policy F5 as presented this 8th day of December 2021. Okay. Let's go.
Hey, you can't leave just because we approve.
We just about got the council meeting done, so you guys are at the end of the line. Anyway, thanks for your patience. Recommendation that council amend purchasing policy F5 is presented this 8th day of December 2021. I need a mover on this. McCabe, second by Council Aries. Kelly, can you give us a bit of a report?
Yes, most definitely. So this purchasing policy came to the most recent finance committee meeting in of which I explained the modifications made. So the highlighted points are the key changes, very high level. I added a definition for senior managers and managers, so it would align with our current organizational chart. I have modified the spending limits for the various defined groups for signing authority, for purchasing signing authority, to be consistent with best practice and more in line with other local government purchasing policies, which we reviewed at least 8 to 10 other local governments purchasing policies. And then I've added some verbiage here in these sections to not fully get away of purchase orders, but to indicate that prior approval needs to be made, but purchase orders are not necessarily required on every single acquisition we make, and that authorization will be on the invoice prior to payment versus on a PO. However, POs can still be used at a manager's discretion. In addition, I've added wordage to try to minimize the use of credit cards and petty cash, and to try to encourage timely receipt of receipts, as well as some documentation on the back of those receipts to help us figure out where they should be going. And with that, that pretty much summarizes it. Very exciting stuff, I know.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a full discussion during the finance committee meeting on this. Any other comments or questions on this, Councilor? Okay, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously, thank you. All right, correspondence for action, Sycamoose and District Senior Center. Recommendation that the district support the Sycamoose and District Senior Center Society by donating $500 for the community Christmas dinner on December 24, 2021. Do I have a mover on this? Counselor Malmas, seconded by Counselor Evans. Any other comments or questions on this? Go ahead, Counselor Malmas.
Yeah, I'd just like to clarify that they're offering this Christmas Eve dinner at, my understanding is noon, but somebody should clarify that, on December the 24th, and they are, you can make you have to submit your name as a reservation.
Yeah.
They're not selling tickets or offering tickets. You have to register your name and how many people are coming, so that they know how many guests they're gonna have, so.
All right, I don't know all the details on it, but Fred Bush phoned me, and in the past, I don't know how many years, we've always supported this to the tune of $500, and that's why I put that number in there. Are we okay with that number, councilors? Okay. All right, we have a mover on this. We have a seconder. I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. When we get the check made up, Kelly will deliver it to the senior center. All right, correspondence for information. December 28th, the list is on here. Is there any one of these correspondence for information that councilors would like to discuss at this particular moment in time? I don't see any hands up. Okay. Nothing in here that I was looking. All right, then Councilor Malmas, go ahead.
I just find it ironic that we have the caribou issue we have here, and now we're talking about a bunch of cities that have deer in town. Deer. And maybe we could have, for that $100,000, maybe we could have in that cost share fund that they move them up to the top of our hill, and we could put some different antlers on them, and then they could look like caribou. So, you know, it's we invaded their space. It was in Cranbrook a couple of weeks ago, and I went to a friend of mine's house, and I'm walking up the park across the street. I walk up, he's got a sidewalk. There's a mule and a couple of does there. They just kind of look at you. And in my backyard, if I stick my head out, they run. So I don't know, they can be hazardous, but you know, they're talking that the deer attract dangerous predators like cougars and wolves. And that's true. But we have a shortage of caribou, and I think it's the same predators up there. So one hand of the government doesn't really know what the other hand is doing. Sorry.
All right, that's interesting comments. Anything else that we'd like to discuss? I know, I think it's Kimberly that has a real serious problem. All right, there's no more comments in regards to all of the correspondence, then we'll move on. And the next step in the meeting today is recommendation at the council meeting for December 8th, 2021 be adjourned at 6:30. Councilor Malmas, Councilor Anderson, all in favor? Thank you to the gallery for joining us today, and everybody online, and we look forward to the workshop on next Tuesday.
You lost the bet again, though.